Welcome to the Jim Florentine Comedy Metal Midgets podcast on riotcast.com. This podcast this week is going to be all about farts. Farts are always funny. They're even funny at a funeral. I grew up on farts. Farts is a big part of my life ever since I was a kid. My dad used to drive us to school, and he would eat this French onion soup the night before because he knew that would give him gas. And then he would drive us to school in the morning and drop us off. And in the car on the way there, he would cut gassers. And he'd have the power locks in the windows by him. And he would lock the windows so we couldn't roll the windows down. And we just have to sit in the stink. My sisters would be so disgusted. Like, I'm going to smell like this the whole day. I'm going to have these farts on me. Always me. I was just fucking, I took it like a man, sat in the back. I'm like, bring it on. It was beautiful. I never saw the guy so happy. Just driving his kids around and farting in the car and locking the windows so nobody could get any fresh air. I mean, when you open the windows, you ruin the joke. Whenever someone does in the car and they roll the window, come on, you're fucking up the joke. It's almost like a heckler yelling during your punchline. Just fucking shut up and listen to the punchline and leave the window up. Just take it. It's going to be okay. It'll be over pretty soon, is my theory. One of my funniest stories ever, my buddy Tony. My friend Tim was seeing this girl, and we stayed over her apartment one night after drinking. We're hammered or whatever. She let us sleep on the floor so we didn't drive home drunk. So my friend Tim and her were in a bed, sleeping. We just met this girl the night before. She's nice enough to let us stay over her house. Sure, you guys, don't worry. Crash on my floor in my bedroom, no problem. So we sleep on the floor or whatever. We wake up in the morning. The girl is sitting up in her bed in her apartment. She just met us a few hours before, smiling, having a good time. Hey, you want me to make you guys breakfast? What do you want? I can make you breakfast, no problem. My friend Tony just went over to her. She was sitting in her bed, pulled his pants down, and fucking farted right in her face. Maybe 10 inches away from her face. No filter. Bare ass, because he never would fart with his pants down, because he's like, you're muffling it. He pulled them all the way down and did it right in her face for no reason. To this day, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. The girl didn't know what to do. The whole room reeked. We all had to run out of the room. She's fucking opening the windows. Every time I'm in a bad mood going on stage, I need to get up for it or whatever. I think of that story, and it puts a smile on my face every time. It was one of the most uncalled for things I've ever seen in my life, but also the funniest. So that's why this podcast will be all about farts. I think this is my second or third podcast about farts. If you go back to one about 2 years ago, it was about me and Don Jameson and Jim Norton and all these other stories about us farting on a plane. So if you never heard that one, they're definitely up on iTunes or on riotcast.com. Go pick it up because it's some really funny stories. But this is a fresh one, and I felt like it was worthy of a podcast. But before we get to that, you guys have any ideas for podcasts or anything like that? I have an email address, comedymetalmidgets@gmail.com. Leave them there. I'm trying to work on a podcast on bad, awful bad baby names, all these new names that these parents are calling their kids. I have a bunch of them, and someone sent me over a few more. But yeah, I'm going to be working on that one. So if you hear any bad, trendy, new baby names, send them over to comedymetalmidgets@gmail.com. That will be a future podcast. And if I don't get back to your email, I did read it. It just takes me a little time because there's a bunch of them coming in. So just be patient. All right, when I'm going to do another Facebook post or awful slang words, I respond to them. I don't respond to them right away. And thanks for the nice feedback in the awful Facebook post last week. Still, they're just coming in a fucking flurry of you guys sending more to the email address. So if you see any more bad Facebook posts out there, sorry, I got a fucking cough. What are you going to do? Send them to comedymetalmidgets@gmail.com because I could I think like once every 6 weeks I will do an awful Facebook post. People seem to enjoy that. It's just so fucking bad. And any awful slang words out there, I need some more of those. Those are always good. And brutal baby names, trendy names. That's what will be coming up in the next couple of weeks. All my comedy tour dates are up on JimFlorentine.com. I was in Portland and Seattle this past week, and a bunch of podcast listeners came out. Thank you. This girl came up and asked a question. She's like, do you like the movies? What did you think of the movie Spinal Tap? And I just go, I never saw it. And she's like, okay, yeah, I just never saw it. I'm sorry. It was, and this was on stage, do this Q&A with the crowd and stuff. And I didn't put two and two together. That's what she wanted me to get under my skin and me go off on how, a couple of weeks ago when I did the thing about the movies I've never seen or the TV shows I've never seen. And I just didn't put two and two together at first. And then I realized what she was doing. So I like how people egg me on. And you're always sending me pictures on Facebook and Twitter of, look at this, a man cave picture. I love that. It makes me laugh, and I'm glad that other people, it fucking bothers other people just like me. So maybe it's just not me. So, yeah, so I'll be coming to Fort Myers, Florida. I'm coming to Fort Lauderdale, Orlando. Those are some Florida dates coming up in June. Pittsburgh and Buffalo, I'm coming Easter week. So if anyone in Pittsburgh, Buffalo, come out to the shows. And also Poughkeepsie, New York at the end of April with Don Jameson. And the Trocadero Theater in Philadelphia with Don Jameson and Eddie Trunk. So, and we're coming to Detroit, too. All the dates are up on whatever, on the website. I can't go fucking through them. I don't care. Let's get to business real quick because we gotta get to the farts. Why are we wasting time on this? If you shop at Amazon.com, go to my website, JimFlorentine.com, click on the Amazon button, and you could shop from there. It helps fund the podcast. It doesn't cost you guys anything. So if you buy any shit off of Amazon, just go to my website first and shop from there. It helps. And then also, if you need new earbuds, tweakedaudio.com. Go to tweakedaudio.com. You get 33% off your order. You get free shipping and handling and a limited lifetime warranty. They got a bunch of different earbuds. They're not that expensive. But yeah, 33% off and free shipping and handling. You got to put in the promo code midgets to do that. So if you need some earbuds, go fucking get them. And I'll be up Amy Schumer's show on Comedy Central. I did a bunch of sketches I'll be on this season. I'm not sure which weeks it's on, but I'll probably be on like 3 or 4 different episodes. And also Californication is starting back up on Showtime. I did an episode which will be coming up soon. I'll see if I can find out what the date is. I play a pimp on there. And then I just did that girls show. A lot of guys hate that show, but they all watched it because they watch it with their wives or girlfriends. I got a lot of feedback. I punched that fucking main guy out or whatever. So, but anyway, so that shit's coming up. All right, let's get to the fucking podcast. There is a Gary from Florida one is still in the hole. There's a great bonus Gary from Florida podcast, probably coming in a week or two. Fans of Gary from Florida, you'll know he tells a whole story about it. He was 17 years old and he was dating this girl and he banged her mom while he was dating their daughter. It's beautiful. It's a very touching story. So me, Don Jameson, Eddie Trunk, we do these live shows of that metal show. We go out. It's more like a stand-up show. We do, me and Don go up, do some stand-up. Eddie tells some stories, some funny rock stories. Then we do a Q&A. We do some trivia. We fuck around with the crowd. If we got a band that lives in town, comes down, like the guys from Queensryche came down this past Friday in Seattle, so we interviewed them on stage. It's a cool. Then we do a meet and greet afterwards, take pictures and all that shit. So you're fans of that metal show, it's a cool show. And we got a bunch of those dates coming up. But so we're flying out to Seattle on Thursday, this past Thursday. Don and Eddie, we're all in the same flight. Don and Eddie decided to upgrade to first class with their frequent flyer miles. I stayed back in coach. I didn't want to waste them on it, so I didn't give a shit. So Don is legendary for cutting gassers on a plane, and they're brutal. He knows like a little wine and some peanuts and stuff like that, and it really gets things going, and he just does it to bother people, and it's fucking hilarious. Just watching people's reactions. There's nowhere for them to go. They're always reaching for the air. I got to find that picture. There was one on a flight that we had like 7 hands reaching for air, like 8 rows up, because mine and Don's gas was so bad. I'll find it somewhere. So Don and Eddie are going to join the podcast now, and we're going to relive the story of what happened on the plane a few days ago, just because of Don Jameson's gas. It's I don't understand it. I don't know why it always makes me laugh, and I don't know why I like to fucking annoy people, and people just get nothing funnier than someone walking in a fart or whatever and seeing their face. To me, it's always going to be fucking funny. So here is the story of me, Don Jameson, Eddie Trunk on a plane. Check it out, and here we are. A very funny and touching story about farts. Take it away, Don and Eddie. All right, so what happened on this flight? So I was in coach. You two guys were in first class. And Don, what did you eat to give you gas?
Well, there's definitely a combination of things that will instantly produce noxious fumes from my ass. And that is peanuts and red wine. Now, because Eddie and I used our miles and we're in first class, you get the free wine up there. So I knew I was getting that. But little did I know, Eddie brought along a bag of peanuts.
No, it was actually a nice bag of organic trail mix that I also added peanuts, cashews, and almonds to. So it was a mix of the trail mix, a few raisins in there, some nice grains, and the peanuts and the cashews and the almonds, and I mixed it all in a Ziploc bag. And Don ate it like it was going out of style.
Yeah, then the wine came.
Right, but like, so you know that stuff will probably give you gas. So you know I'm going to be on a plane, sit next to Eddie in first class, so I want to fart. That's your motivation, to have the wine and the peanuts. Like you actually want to have gas just to fart next to Eddie and annoy everybody in first class. That's your goal to eat when you're eating that stuff.
Yeah.
That's it. That's just fucking beautiful. People paying $2,500 for a fucking first class ticket from Newark to Seattle.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was his goal. I didn't know that was his mission. I just thought I was helping a friend who was hungry and that the food hadn't come yet. And then there's another move that happens too, where I'll have one glass of wine and Don will have 22, but he doesn't want to ask for 22 wines, so he just takes mine and chugs mine. And then the girl keeps coming over and asks if I need more wine, sir. Yes. So he'll drink both wines. So I'll have one glass, and the girl will think I'm having 15, but the other 14 are going to Don's.
They're going to Don.
And then he takes his empty, puts it on my tray, and takes the full over.
Yeah.
So now, how many farts did he do, Eddie, in first class before it fucking took it to a whole other level?
There was a pretty good warm-up of about 2 or 3 good warm-ups that just started with a little floating must. Nothing too bad.
How far into the flight?
It took a while.
It took a while.
Good hour and a half after the first nuts went in.
Right.
And and then the started a very light must, and then it built from there. The first fart, you could tell. Being around him so much and having had so much experience, I can tell where, from the scent of the first fart, if it's going to get bad or if that's the best he has that day.
Right.
And I could tell that he was laying a foundation for something really special in that flight.
He was just pouring cement. He was right. He was the politician with the fucking hard hat on, the shovel, breaking ground.
Yeah, exactly.
And the photo op.
Exactly.
See, I think what happened was all that organic stuff really made it worse, because it was, that stuff makes your fart smell like a compost heap. So that's what happened with that.
So one musty one. Now, wasn't there Don took 3 or 4 pictures of you with your shirt over your nose? So now he's fucking launching them, and you got your T-shirt over your nose in first class. Now everybody, probably most people in the first class are smelling it, and they're looking around like, who is this? And then they see you on the aisle seat with your shirt over your nose.
Yeah, I mean, we stand out anytime we're in first class anyway, because we're 3 slobs from Jersey in concert shirts, where everybody else is sitting there sir, would you like me to fold your jacket and put it away?
Right.
There's no need for that.
Yeah, I got my Marilyn Manson hoodie. They're not asking if they want to fold it and put it away.
Sir, that's a beautiful hell yeah hoodie. Would you like me to hang that for you? No, that's all right. I'll just use it for a pillow on my head.
You want me to take your rose tattoo hoodie, sir? I'm like, no, I don't want to lose this.
So anyway, that's bad enough. But yeah, I was trying to eat, and it was getting bad. So
now, why would a friend? You consider Don a friend? Why would he do that while you're eating?
Well, I don't consider him a friend. Somebody I have to deal with, unfortunately. But I think
this is coming from the guy who almost grounded a plane with his gas.
Who?
Florentine.
Oh wow.
No, but I'm just asking, like he's in the middle of
Because
eating.
it's funny. If I'm on a flight by myself, I don't do that.
All right, Eddie, if you had bad gas and Don was eating, would you hold it in until he was done with his food?
No.
Oh, to him, absolutely not. I'd push to get it out before he took his first bite.
So there you go.
I'll tell you what, too. It was, and then it got real bad. So I opened in the air vent. I had my shirt protector up, and then Don couldn't hold it anymore, and he had to completely go full release in the bathroom. And he gets up and goes in the bathroom, and the girl sitting behind me starts making small talk with me, and she said, we realized we're talking for like 15 minutes, and she noticed Don still wasn't in his seat and was still in the bathroom, and she said to me, your friend, is he okay? You might want to go check on him in there. I swear to God.
So you think that she knew that the gas was coming from him?
Yeah, because she was kind of smirking, and she was sitting right behind Don. And then she saw Don get up and go in the can, literally for like 15, 20 minutes in the first class can. You know, that's only a first class bathroom. There's only 6 rows of people that could use it.
Yeah.
And she saw how long it was being occupied and that Don was there and the seat was empty. And she actually said to me, she goes, is your friend okay in there? I said, you've been smelling what's in the air? What do you think?
Oh, you even acknowledged the smell. And what did she say?
No, I didn't acknowledge the smell. I just said.
But she was alluding to that's why he's in there.
I think so. Yeah.
Now, why were you dropping a deuce in there?
Yeah, I had to evacuate. You know, there's just too much going on.
So now, how do you? So after you drop a deuce, how do you still have that stink? Isn't it usually gone?
It was mostly gone after that. I mean, the main damage was done at that point. I mean, I think you had gotten kicked.
Oh, that was after. Okay,
yeah.
I thought. All right, so but before we all stood up and that went down. So now the guy across from you was a businessman, a guy like 40 years old in a button down, and I saw he was fucking was he whipping you guys dirty looks because he was right across from you, Eddie. Don was in the window seat, you were in the aisle, and the guy was across from you. Did he see you putting your shirt over your nose?
I don't know, but that guy was nice enough to switch seats with us so me and Don could sit together, and his reward was he got gas the whole flight. We asked that guy if we could switch seats so that Don and I could sit next to each other, and then that guy had to endure that.
Now, Don, when you were dropping them, did you notice anybody putting the air on or, looking over it, like who the fuck's doing that?
It wasn't as bad as it usually is.
Okay.
There was a couple people reached for the air, but it wasn't, like you and I have laid some gassers, like double gassers, where people, you could see the veins in their arms bulging, trying to turn the air even higher than it could go. But no, it wasn't too bad up there. The one guy, that was the worst. The guy who put his arm up over his face.
No, all right, but so Eddie, how many times did you put your shirt over your nose? Would you say?
I'd say about 3.
3. And
Yeah.
Don, you were snapping pictures like you were a paparazzi.
Yeah.
You got some shots of them.
Yeah, put the phone in airplane mode and then just snap away.
Right.
And then tweet it.
So
and then you got a little taste of it yourself, Jim.
Yeah, so then I'm in coach, so I go right where first class and coach, right in that little section right before you hit the curtain is, to go talk to those guys. So we're all 3 are standing there. So now I'm standing like right behind the first guy that's in coach in the aisle seat, and we're just fucking bullshitting. And Don launches a fart, and Eddie smells it right away. He's already had like 6 of them. He knew it, and Eddie just ran back into the back of the coach area. Me and Don were just standing there talking, and I got it bad. I'm like, holy shit, that's bad. And we're just standing there talking, bullshitting, giggling. Right, then Eddie comes back, so all three of us are just standing there, and he's like, holy shit, it's still here. And you guys are facing the guy behind me that's in coach, and then he put his arm over his face.
I never saw a move like that before. I mean, I've been on the planes with you guys a lot and seen the farting and the reaction. But this guy's move was swift and precise. You couldn't have taken this guy's move for anything else but complete, like, utter disgust. Like, he's breathing fresh air, he's on his iPad, he's doing a little work, he's enjoying his flight, and then, like, somebody just hit him with a knife in his nostrils.
Right.
Because he took his, it looked like a pro bowler going in a bowling motion, like with the arm up, like releasing a bowling ball up, and just cupped it right around into his nose. So it's whole arm motion.
So he had basically like his whole elbow, like the inside of his elbow.
He looked like Dracula.
Yes.
Putting the cape over his face. Like he did that arm motion.
But he was using the core. He was he was
trying to cup fresh air in his in the bend of the elbow.
Right.
He thought he could like get a little air bubble going in there.
Where my move is to just use the collar of my shirt as a kind of filter, if you will.
Right.
His move is to take. This guy's move was to just take his entire nose and bury it in the other side of the elbow, the interior of your arm. I don't know what you call that. The crease, the bend in your arm.
Yeah.
And he just bent his whole arm around his head.
So now you guys see this. I'm behind. I'm standing in front of him, so I don't see it. I got my back to him.
Oh wait, why he did the bend though? It was all one. The right arm bent around his own head, while the left arm at the same time went up to open the air vent.
Oh, he did.
It was all one move.
He got the air too.
It was all one move, and it was quick.
Yeah.
It was boom. It just friggin' went, man. This guy was so offended. He went for everything he could to stop.
When someone reaches for the air, that's like scoring a goal in hockey. That's you're right. That's it. And you got to fucking someone reaching for the air. That's it. It's fucking. The siren goes off.
Buzzer going off.
Yeah, and all your friends crowd you, and you fucking hug each other, and you put your sticks in the air.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that he went for the air too.
All in one motion.
So you guys are standing. You guys can see him. I got my back to him, and you guys start laughing like, "Oh my God, look at that guy! Look!" And you're pointing, and I'm looking around. I don't see him. I looked the other way to the left. He was to the right, and you guys ran back into first class like little kids because you were laughing so fucking hard.
Yeah, and you were left standing there.
I'm left standing because I'm watching you guys laugh. You guys go back in your seat. Now the guy across from you that gave up his seat so you guys could sit together is fucking staring you guys down like, you motherfuckers. Just looking at you guys. You guys are like two fucking 6-year-olds giggling in first class in your seats.
That guy, 50-year-old men.
Yeah, just that guy is just fucking I thought he was gonna like stand up and punch you guys. He was so mad because he was looking back when Don first cut that gas and we were still standing there. He got it when we were still standing up, and he kept looking like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And then when you guys ran back to your seats, he's laughing. So I stood there while you guys were back in your seat, just watching you guys laugh. And next thing I know, from behind, I get fucking kicked right in the back, right in my shin, right on the side of my shin. And I turn around, and it was the guy that fucking had his arm over his nose. Well, I didn't even know. He goes, oh, sorry. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. And I thought he was getting up. I go, because the guy doesn't have anything in front of him. So I figured he might be getting up, and maybe his foot slipped. And then I go, okay. And then he goes, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. And he just sat there. So he was never getting up. Unless he had a fucking, a spastic foot or an epilepsy in his fucking foot.
Right.
He fucking hit me right in the shin. Because my ass was maybe a foot and a half away from his face, so he probably thought it was coming from me. You guys ran away. I was the one left standing, so he's like, this guy just fucking farted in my face.
That's pretty much how it went down. You got kicked because of my foul stench.
And I wasn't sure, like, I didn't know that was the guy. I didn't know he put his arm up. I had no idea till after we got off the flight. So I'm like, all right, that guy must have smelled one of Don's gases and kicked me. I deserve it. The guy fucking, sitting there with his family or whatever. And I thought it was just funny. And I went back to my seat and just fucking started laughing. I can't believe this guy kicked me over one of Don's farts. But then you said that they were all talking about it afterwards, Don?
Who was?
That whole aisle? You said after, like, when you kept looking back and they were all like,
Oh,
they were all talking about it?
Yeah, you could tell, yeah. and he was like showing the move, what he had to do.
Right, they're all animated. Like,
yeah.
They're all trying to figure it out while at this point, Don and I are back in our seats eating more nuts and drinking more wine.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I crabbed, and then I took a nap for like 2.5 hours. It was a nice flight.
So the chick definitely behind you, Eddie, do you think she was smelling Don's gas?
Yeah, she thought we were in a band.
Right.
She said to me, she says, "Are you guys in a band?" Because even though we don't look like we're in a band, I think that whenever you see guys in first class wearing concert shirts, you figure they can't be anything but in a band.
Right.
So she asked me if we were in a band, and I told her no. And then she asked me what we did, and I told her. And then she's just talking to me, and she said, "You may want to check on your friend. He's been in there for a long time." And because the whole time I was talking to her, Don wasn't there because he was doing whatever he was doing in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It would have only been better if you were with us up there.
No, I know. I could have. That would have been just instigating and whatever, doing something. But just that little flurry. I just went up there to say hello, and next thing I know, fucking all hell breaks loose. I get kicked. You guys run back to your seats. The guy across from you wants to kick your ass, and the chick behind you knows you're the one cutting the gassers.
Sounds about right. Just sounds about like every flight we've ever been on together, pretty much.
Yeah, we got another flight tomorrow, so we might have to do an update to this podcast.
It's, maybe one out of every 15 to 20 flights, I might smell a gasser one time that someone did.
Right.
Other than that, never.
Never.
People hold them in. People have respect. They might go to the bathroom if their stomach's bothering them or whatever. They just wait till they get off the plane. Not us.
We actually work to conjure the formula so that we can bring that sort of enjoyment to the other passengers.
And it's weird, like, the three of us, because we do so much stuff together. Like, you know how, like, chicks, their periods, like, sync up after they know each other for a while?
Right.
Like, our bowels have synced up. So once one of us starts, then the other guys get going, too. It's contagious.
Yeah. It's, I'll never forget, we were flying with Don's ex-girlfriend. And we're on one of those little 2 seats on one side, one on the other, and she was in the one separate seat. I was on the window, Don was in the aisle, and I was cutting gassers, and I was blaming it on Don.
Yeah, the whole time.
And she was so disgusted, and I'm like, look, and Don's like, look, it's me, it's Jim, it's not me. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll look, all right, no problem. I go, look, I know Don doesn't want to do that in front of you, admit it. I go, but I'll take the bullet. It's me. I don't want to cause a problem in your relationship, so I'm blaming it on myself. And now she's thinking, you know what, it is probably Don. Because why would Jim just say, okay, fine. If you want me to say it's me, all right, I did it. I'll take credit for that one, too.
And she thought it was me till the day we broke up.
She did?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I used the reverse psychology. Fine.
Yeah.
Well, another one? All right, yep, that was me again. Sorry again. It's beautiful.
Well, I like when we're sitting in coach. I forget where we were going, me and you, we were in coach, and we were trying to see how many rows up we could get people to turn the air on. Because didn't we get, like, what was the record? Like,
there was like,
rows?
Well, yeah, there was, I think like 8 or 9 rows up, but there was like, there's a picture I have. I got to find it. I'm going to repost it or wherever on Twitter. There was a picture of like 6 or 7 hands all reaching for the air in one shot, and like 8 rows up.
Yeah, because it's
like the cover of my new book.
Yeah,
The Hands
exactly.
in the Air.
The hands in the air.
Yeah, because if you can get the people, to the side of you or in front of you to do it, it's funny. But if you can get people 8 rows up, that's the best.
Nothing better than me and Norton farting in first class one time. And it was more Norton than me. And I got up to go to the bathroom because I was laughing so hard in first class. We were sitting right in those first 2 seats as soon as you get on the plane. I'm in the aisle seat. I got up to go to the bathroom, and the fucking stewardess was so disgusted because it was us farting. As soon as I shut the door to the bathroom, she started spraying Lysol at the door. With me in there, she started spraying the door. Norton, I didn't know. Norton told me she was spraying the door as soon as she went in there.
When they see us coming, they should always have some kind of disinfectant around.
And then Norton, we heard the stewardess in the front, like right by the cockpit door. She goes, I'm going in the back. I can't handle this anymore. I'm gonna take the back part. I'm going back to coach. And the girl's like, oh, okay, we can handle this. She goes, I just can't. I can't be in this anymore. This is too much. This is overwhelming. We're all hearing this over. So she goes, all right. And they go, okay, go in the back. It was right before ready to land. She walked like 2 feet. And Norton had another one hovering, and she fucking stopped right in her tracks, like, oh my God, and went right back to the front. I'm not going back there. I'll stay here. Walked right into it and fucking went right back. Didn't even make it past it.
Well, that's the other move is to launch one, and then when the waitress comes down the aisle, you stop them and just ask them a ridiculous question.
Oh, just stall them, yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, what kind of plane is this again?
Yeah. I don't know where. How much is it? Can I pay with a credit card, or I can pay with cash too?
Who makes the engines? Is that Boeing? Where's that?
Do you know how long the flight is? We still got it?
Just so they have to stand in the fog.
All right, so that's it. Another fucking fart story. Always funny. Always will be. That's it. Welcome to the Jim Florentine Comedy Metal Midgets podcast on riotcast.com. This podcast this week is going to be all about farts. Farts are always funny. They're even funny at a funeral. I grew up on farts. Farts is a big part of my life ever since I was a kid. My dad used to drive us to school, and he would eat this French onion soup the night before because he knew that would give him gas. And then he would drive us to school in the morning and drop us off. And in the car on the way there, he would cut gassers. And he'd have the power locks in the windows by him. And he would lock the windows so we couldn't roll the windows down. And we just have to sit in the stink, is my theory. One of my funniest stories ever, my buddy Tony. My friend Tim was seeing this girl, and we stayed over her apartment one night after drinking. We're hammered or whatever. She let us sleep on the floor so we didn't drive home drunk. So my friend Tim and her were in a bed, sleeping. We just met this girl the night before. She's nice enough to let us stay over her house. Sure, you guys, don't worry. Crash on my floor in my bedroom, no problem. So we sleep on the floor or whatever. We wake up in the morning. The girl is sitting up in her bed in her apartment. She just met us. My sisters would be so disgusted. Like, I'm going to smell like this the whole day. I'm going to have these farts on me. Always me. I was just fucking, I took it like a man, sat in the back. I'm like, bring it on. It was beautiful. I never saw the guy so happy. Just driving his kids around and farting in the car and locking the windows so nobody could get any fresh air. I mean, when you open the windows, you ruin the joke. Whenever someone does in the car and they roll the window, come on, you're fucking up the joke. It's almost like a heckler yelling during your punchline. Just fucking shut up and listen to the punchline and leave the window up. Just take it. It's going to be okay. It'll be over pretty soon. A few hours before, smiling, having a good time. Hey, you want me to make you guys breakfast? What do you want? I can make you breakfast, no problem. My friend Tony just went over to her. She was sitting in her bed, pulled his pants down, and fucking farted right in her face. Maybe 10 inches away from her face. No filter, bare ass. Because he never would fart with his pants down. Because he's like, you're muffling it. He pulled them all the way down and did it right in her face for no reason. To this day, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. The girl didn't know what to do. The whole room reeked. We all had to run out of the room. She's fucking opening the windows. Every time I'm in a bad mood going on stage, I need to get up for it or whatever, I think of that story and it puts a smile on my face every time. It was one of the most uncalled for things I've ever seen in my life, but also the funniest. So that's why this podcast will be all about farts. I think this is my second or third podcast about farts. If you go back to one about 2 years ago, it was about me and Don Jameson and Jim Norton and all these other stories about us farting on a plane. So if you never heard that one, they're definitely up on iTunes or on riotcast.com. Go pick it up because it's some really funny stories. But this is